Like, bro, he can just speak another language. You don't go around being like, also I can speak French. Devil! Bonjour, hi! Annyeong! Get ready with me. This is my first get ready with me. While I'm talking about things that irks me in Harry Potter. Ooh, I forgot to mention, this one, I recently went to buy myself some creams, like eye creams, face creams, stuff like that. I never realized how freaking expensive they are. It's like, I think in the last 3 months, it has like doubled. It's crazy. Anyway, okay. So one of the things that really hurt me when I was rereading the books is, you know how Harry Potter basically lives in a cupboard under the stairs for like 11 years? Nobody talks about like the amount of trauma that he has, because like it's wow. Because imagine, okay, like you're a child, and I cannot imagine like Petunia just throwing the child under the stairs the moment he's like there. But you know, it's a bit crazy that he didn't have any room, and no adult, like no more adult in the books ever mentioned it. Like nobody ever does. So I was a bit confused when I was reading it, because Harry has like an exceeding amount of trauma, and it's not even addressed in the books. So like, anyway. Also, all the adults in the series is lackluster at best. It's like, they're shitty adults. Like, they expect a child to just save them all, and it's a bit crazy. It's a bit ridiculous, if I do say so myself. Anyway, so we know that like Harry Potter is abused, and basically like he hates living at the Dursleys, and it's evident. Like, it's literally written in the lines that the Dursleys hate him, right? Like they don't love him. But at the end of the first book, when Harry is essentially begging Dumbledore to stay at Hogwarts, Dumbledore kind of looks at him and just goes like, no, I'm sure they love you. I'm sure you're just exaggerating. It's literally like, basically, if you read between the lines, this is what Dumbledore says to Harry. And it's like, bruh, like, you have a child begging, basically begging on their knees to not go back home. And you're like, oh, it's not that bad. Ooh. You know, one of the things that I kind of like thought about is Dumbledore is Voldemort. They're like basically the same persons. It's only that one is worse than the other. But they have the same goals, just reversed. Anyway. Also, do you know, like, okay, throughout the books, Dumbledore's eyes twinkle, and it always bugs me so much, okay? When I read, like, Dumbledore's eyes twinkling, like blue eyes twinkle, mama twinkle, twinkle. It's basically him using legitimacy, like he's reading your mind. When his eyes twinkle, it's basically like, I'm reading your mind and I have found something that I like. And it gives me the ick. It gives me the ick. Like, Dumbledore is supposed to be this almighty good man, but he's not that good. He has a very weird conception of love that is essentially grooming a child, because you cannot tell me otherwise that Harry Potter was groomed to save the world. Harry didn't want to be a hero. He was essentially thrown into the war because, well, a prophecy. And the prophecy is not even real. It's just like, well, there's words. And also, okay, I'm sorry, I'm getting heated. Also, why on earth did Dumbledore had an interview in Hogshead where anyone can hear it. Usually when you have an interview for a job, it is at the place of the job. But no, Dumbledore had to interview a seer in Hogshead, where a prophecy could be heard by Severus Snape, who then ran with it, half the prophecy, to the Dark Lord. It's why, okay. So, yes. Also, all of the adults in the books in Harry Potter, male adults, all want something from Harry. Like, their love is conditional. Like, Dumbledore wants to win the war, so he basically grooms Harry to be a hero. Snape, he just doesn't like him because he reminds him of James. I think the minister just want him to advocate for the ministry. The only person that I think kind of loves him unconditionally is Lily and Molly. And that's a lot, that's crazy to think about. That's also the way that Dumbledore kind of, like, you know, in the 6th book, when they review Tom Riddle's memories, like, Dumbledore's memories of Tom Riddle, it's like, I don't know, it gives me, like, Dumbledore is a very judgmental person, and he basically sees a child in distress, because the first line that we hear Tom Riddle say is like, are you a doctor or are you a psychiatrist? Basically, he thinks Dumbledore is going to intern him, you know, like, go, like, because he's crazy, you know, and not Dumbledore, but Tom basically, I'm not crazy. I saw these things happen. These things can happen. I can make people do bad things with my mind. But Dumbledore's like, you're a bad kid. Like, bro, this kid grew up in the war. He did everything to survive, and then basically Dumbledore's like, yeah, no, you're a bad kid. Also, I can speak to Snake. Oh my god, you're the devil incarnate. Like, bro, he can just speak another language. You don't go around being like, also, I can speak French. Devil! Like, this is a bit ridiculous if you think about it. It's just a language. You're just speaking to Snake. It's kind of badass, too. Speaking to Snake? Whoa. I wish I could speak to Snake, too. You know? So, yeah, it's annoying as all hell. Where Dumbledore kind of sees Tom Riddle as, like, this devil incarnate. Okay, yeah, he turns out to be, like, absolutely disgusting. Like, he's evil as But when he's just a kid, he's just a kid. He's doing kid things in an orphanage. And yes, okay, he steals things. But, like, again, that's a thing that happens in orphanage. He's not necessarily evil if everyone else do it. He's just evil because Dumbledore sees it as evil. And Dumbledore has a really skewed perception of what is evil and what is good and what is bad. So he's not exactly the best reference for this shit. And also, like, can we see, like, how Harry really reacts to how Tom is treated by Dumbledore in the memories? He's like, whoa, this is a bit weird. And when Dumbledore afterwards, like, they kind of speak about what they saw, Harry doesn't know what to say. He's like, I don't know, but he wants to please Dumbledore so bad that he kind of, like, reads between the lines of what Dumbledore wants him to say, and he says it. But it's not exactly what he thinks. We all know that. Harry kind of sees himself in Tom, and Tom sees himself in Harry. It's just inherently different the way they both see themselves in each other. Anyway. Also, I'm not exactly a Dumbledore hater, but I'm not exactly a Dumbledore lover either. He's just a very interesting character, and I don't know, he seems a bit weird. But anyway. Also, can we talk about also Sirius? Sirius being the only, like, real adult that wants to take care of Harry, but his trauma is getting in the way. He sees James and Harry, even though Harry is, like, not James, he's the son of Lily and James. So that's so bad, because, like, Imagine if Sirius never went to Azkaban. Imagine all of the things, like, imagine if Harry was raised by Sirius Black. He would never have trusted Dumbledore the way he trusts him, the way he sees Dumbledore as, like, the savior of it all. Like, Dumbledore is not the savior everyone thinks he does. Because if we go back in time, right, Dumbledore waited until the very, very last minute to fight off Grindelwald. He could have fought him, and yes, okay, they made a blood pact, and like, his sister died, and he doesn't know if it's him who killed it, or if it's Grindelwald. Anyway, like, that's not an acceptable excuse to wait for so many years because your ex-boyfriend is on a rampage. Like, bro, he's killing people, and you just wait around? And yeah, it annoys him. Also, why are you so distraught about your sister's death? Like, I know you think you're guilty, but like, Jesus Christ, bro. If you think you're so guilty about it, admit to it. Like, even your brother is like... Dumbledore is not perfect. And he kind of accepted it. Like, Dumbledore is like, thinks he's all mighty and like, yeah, okay, he has like, he cried when Harry died, when Harry met him in the afterlife, but like, oh my god, it hurts me so bad. It's like, bro, why? Also, the fact that Dumbledore basically like failed 3 kids that had the same background. Like, if we look at Tom, Half-Blood, who just started going to the wizarding world, having no idea what's going on, and Dumbledore basically ostracizes him the first minute he meets him, and it's like, and then this boy is starting to Slytherin. It's like, oh, okay, so he's obviously evil because he's in Slytherin. Like, oh, it's... And then it's Severus Snape time. Like, this boy, this poor boy, goes through a trial. He's friends with a Muggleborn. He's pretty good at first. And then he gets sorted into Slytherin. And Dumbledore's like, yeah, no, that's a bad kid. Where? Where is the bad kid? Because he's friends with a Muggleborn, who's a Gryffindor. Who are your favorites? And then suddenly Harry comes. He's starting into Gryffindor like his parents. But Harry is aware of how the world sees Slytherins, and he's so, like, afraid to show his Slytherin traits that he basically does everything in his power to not be seen as a Slytherin. Even if Harry, in my opinion, is very Slytherin. He is Gryffindor, but he is very Slytherin. Because if you think about it, the way he was treated at the Dursleys is like, he has to be quiet. He's resourceful. He had to learn to be resourceful. He had to learn to be cunning and conniving because of how Petunia raised him. Like, I'm sorry, but this is exactly what happened. Like, Petunia was an asshole, and Harry had to work around it. And you're telling me that Harry is like the perfect example of a Gryffindor? No, he wanted to be a Gryffindor because he wanted to be like his parents. Because everyone around him was like, well, like your parents, Harry. And also, you don't want to be like the bad guy who killed your parents, Harry. The bad guy was in Slytherin. And all the bad guys go to Slytherin. Like, of course he's never going to be in Slytherin. He doesn't want to be like the killer of his parents. Also, the way the author never created a good Slytherin character. It's honestly annoying. Slughorn, we can argue that he's a good Slytherin character, but even then, is he though? Is he? I don't believe he is. Exactly. Also, can we talk about like the fact that Peter Pettigrew was the longest hat stall ever? It was torn between Slytherin and Gryffindor, and it even eventually went to Gryffindor. But also the man himself, Albus Dumbledore, was so Slytherin coded Like, you cannot tell me otherwise. That man was a Slytherin in Gryffindor's disguise. He, like, I'm sorry. How do you mess up this bad? And it annoys me. It annoys me so bad. Also, why did Harry have so, like, willpower to just, I don't know, sacrifice himself for the greater good? Even though he was, like, looked down upon by the whole wizarding world for his whole life. Like, his whole life he's been, like, ostracized and, like, looked down upon and frowned upon. And you telling me you're willing to sacrifice yourself? Bro, after the 5th book, like, if I were Harry, I would have gone a rampage. You're like, bro, you're done. You called me a liar for, like, all the books. You called me a liar. You didn't believe that Voldemort was back until you saw him. And then suddenly I'm your savior. I'm the chosen one. Like, I would be so pissed. Also, the fact that my godfather was dead at the point, like, I would be seeking revenge. I wouldn't care about what Dumbledore says. Also, Dumbledore inviting him into his office to train him, only to see, like memories of Tom Riddle. Like, what was that? What was that about? Like, why? Why? It's kind of giving... Like, I don't know how to tell you, bro, but you're connected, and I cannot tell you unless you figure out yourself. Like, just tell him he says a Horcrux. Like, Jesus. If he's a Horcrux, Harry hates Voldemort this much, he's going to sacrifice himself anyway. Doesn't have to be so cryptic about it. Okay, yeah, he had to get rid of all the Horcruxes before getting rid of it himself. But, you know, it's like... He's making my skin crawl. Because, yeah, the fact that he's, like, looked as this, like, almighty man, but he's not. And Harry sees him all throughout the books, until the 7th book, as, like, this perfect being, is annoying. Is annoying to me, because, okay, yeah, when you were a child, when you read the books as a child, you kind of see Harry, like, Dumbledore the same way Harry sees him. But when you reread it as an adult, all these, like, little instances of Dumbledore's character slipping out, is like his mask slipping out, is so flagrant. Like, it's so there in your face that you're like, huh. And he was supposed to be the good guy during this whole series. He was supposed to be the good guy, but he acts like this. Like, I had this way of, how do I say that? I had this way of comparing him to, like, everyone kind of compares him to a war general, but I kind of see him as a priest. He preaches good, but you know what happens to priests and little boys in the 60s? Exactly. Oh my god, yes! Okay, did you know that I went and got my bangs fixed? I'm so excited. Yay! Okay, I'm gonna do something just to make sure that I don't have a big hole in the middle of my forehead. Yes. An elastic. But yes. Dumbledore is supposed to be this whole, like, almighty good guy, but he failed so many people. And, like, yeah, you go around and say, like, well, Dumbledore cannot save everyone. No, he can't. child is basically begging at your feet and being like, oh my god, I cannot go back home because they hate me, and you go around and be like, well, they're your blood relatives, they cannot hate you. Yes, they can. Like, if a boy goes and tells you that they don't feel safe home and you send them back home anyway, like, what does that make you? And yes, okay, the blood wars, whatever, the blood wars. I don't believe it for one minute. I don't believe it at all. At all. It's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. Like, you telling me that Petunia loves her nephew? Nope. Oh, no. Oh, we don't. Oh, she don't. But anyway, that was my rant about Harry Potter, the books, and how Dumbledore fucks up everything. And how Harry deserved better. Yeah, Harry deserved better. Even, like, in his own series, he's never, like, mentioned as, like, the favorite character, but if you look closely at him, honestly, I think he's one of my favorite characters too, because he never had a choice. He had to go and do what the adult told him to do, and then he sailed as a hero as a baby. He didn't do shit. Lily did. It was a blood, like, sacrifice, I think, if you think about it this way. It's not love. What does love have to do with anything? Lily sacrificed her life. It's a life sacrifice. Lily sacrificed her life for her son. Lily did something. Lily saved the world, not Harry. Okay, bye.